Okay, I'm sick of waiting for decent weather, so I apologise, this is filmed inside, and the lighting's not brilliant, and I'll also remind you that all this crap is not mine. People keep saying to me, tidy up that garage, and it's like, it's not my garage, I can't. But in the last video, we discovered the only way to know the true answer, which is most likely going to come down to a bearing breaking at the bottom of the actuation shaft. The only way we can find that out is by taking the head off and splitting the engine, which is what we're going to do now. And I'm going to try and do it as quickly as possible. Problems start already because it's not in a bike. I'm just twisting the bloody engine. Oh, just notice how little force it takes to take these apart. That's it, and it's loose. That gives you an idea of how little torque is actually required on engine casings. And yeah, that, you know, common sense. We've all seen some recent going-ons with torque settings and such. We've all learnt that one of these is the most deadly thing that any person can own. But yeah, use common sense when doing stuff up. I mean, if you're doing something up with the torque wrench and it seems pretty hard as you're doing it up, just think about what you're actually doing. Because we all know that engine bolts are not done up hard. Like, you can do them easily over tight by hand on one of these. So something, you know, massively longer. It's the sort of stuff you have to think about. I'm not going to be putting this back together again because when I take it apart, I'm probably going to have to do some pretty sketchy stuff to get the flywheel off and stuff. So yeah, it's never going back together again. Also, with regards to my last video, I can't go into full details at the moment, and I hoped people would understand that I'm not an idiot. I'm very well versed in employment and contract law. I know what I'm doing, basically, so please, rather than trying to, as I said in the description, trying to make suggestions and all these things, it's pointless. I mean, you haven't got all the information. There is no way you're going to be able to second guess everything, so please don't. I'm just letting you know what's going on with me at the moment. It's a problem. It costs... Oh, hang on a minute. These are different. Oh, that was a long one. I very often find this, for some reason people think I'm an idiot and maybe forget that I'm actually 31 and I've done quite a bit in my life and I have a lot of experience and I'm not an idiot. And I do things in very, very thought out ways. Nothing is ever done like on the spur of the moment without thoughts to the possible outcomes, should we say. I use decent sealant on this. The first thing you're going to see in the video that you don't repeat is this. Well, actually, it's a lot of it. All of it, basically just don't do anything I do, ever. I also went to a big point to say that I have nothing against the cafe, and I don't wish for people to not go there on my behalf, because the staff need money too. The situation is quite complicated, and as I say, take it from me, my word, which is I would rather that you treated it as you did before, because only one of the many people that's involved with it is involved with me and the problem that I have. These are the valve adjustment cover caps. Just wanted to make sure there was nothing in the way. It's all undone. It should... It's just because it's so old. Slightly different noises happening. Got ya. Everything's so clean and pristine in here that I know I'm going to end up keeping all these little bits and cleaning them up, because the last set kind of got left in the rain for a while. My bad. Let's put that down there. Okay, but I need to get through this quick because this is going to take a while. You knob! Right, so I've just been having some fun getting these undone. But of course these are the stretch bolts that run through the middle of the engine, so they're going to be under some pressure. Right, so to loosen the cam chain off and to remove the cam, I'm going to undo the tensioner and hope that's enough. So that's the cam chain tensioner out, which has loosened the cam chain off, but not enough. So I am going to actually have to undo this lobe. But it's got a tab washer on it, which is basically a piece of metal that gets bent up around a nut to stop it from moving. And you just have to bend that out of the way. Again, I'll remind you that none of the processes and practices that you see in this video should be done by anyone, because this engine is not going to be put back together again. Oh, no, we don't. Just, oh, there we go. If you've got a fastener in something which moves, you need sudden impact, like, to get it to come off. If it's not moving, then that's when you apply, like, you know, pressures. Oh, please be my Allen key size. It is! Fantastic. That wasn't too tight. Basically, this gives you access to your flywheel nut in here. In camera still? Yeah, you can still kind of see. In here, and that will allow you to actually turn the engine over. See, by turning this, you're turning the engine over so the piston's going up and down, and it's allowing everything to move. You'll learn about this in my How a Motorcycle Engine Works video, but it allows me to get that up top. So you see, this tab washer and the nut comes off. Then we should be able to move the pulley off of there, which should give us enough slack to undo the cam chain. Should. There we go. Right. So now, there we go. Cam and pulleys out. Again, not the advised method of removing sections of your engine. There we go. Oh, that's carboned up like hell. So we're now on the next section down. Okay. I'm going to pull the barrel off the piston, like so, and then somehow get the barrel off the... Ow! Barrel looks and feels like new. You can still see the cross hatchings in it. Now it's down to taking off this side of the engine, because we need to split the engine and all the bolts from this side, and this is the flywheel side. Getting that flywheel off is going to be interesting. Simply because we have a puller, but it's the opposite type to what we would need to get this flywheel off. Notice how easily these are coming undone? They're probably a bit looser than they're supposed to be, but that's about what, you know, torquing things down should be. Should I torque? Yeah, I'll do it. How to use a torque wrench. Make sure you have a small one that goes down to the right settings. These being engine bolts will probably be around 9 at most. So let's torque one to that and then we'll undo it. Oh. Right, ready? See that? That is torqued. Now let's see how much force it takes to take it off. See my point? If you're doing this on an engine bolt, you're doing it wrong. I now have a receptacle for all the hardware, which we put in. We have a massive pot full of just nuts and bolts and stuff that we take off of things, because you never know when you just find the right thing in there. Right, now this one is detached, but it doesn't seem like it wants to come off. That's because it's magnetically held in. I'm trying to fight. Come on. There we go. Yeah. That's your flywheel with the magneto. And basically, this being magnetic and this being the thing that it's basically the motor that creates electricity, that is being sucked into there. I should be wearing gloves. I really should be. Normally I do, and then people give me shit for it. But yeah, it's a cancer risk, basically. I know I can pull this out, which is the starter motor clutch. Well, it's not a clutch, it's the connection. But that's pretty. I'm keeping that. Yes, I am obsessed with anything like mechanical, nuts, bolts, screws, things that are machined. Anyway, I know the number one problem we're going to have is getting this flywheel off, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Oh, just dug it into the piston. Oh, I've got no real option though, I've got to get this undone. Everything hit the ground, but it... Oh, did it undo or did it just... Oh no, it twisted. Oh, it's done some damage to the piston. Oh, that's evil. Okay, well I can't find the impact gun, so I'm going to have to do this the most horrible way I can possibly think. I think that right there should be the thumbnail, because that's going to make people cry. God, now that is a tight one. That did not want to undo. In here is a thing called a woodruff key, which is basically a divot in the shaft and a piece of metal, like a U-shape, that fits in it, and it basically wedges it in place. Now the way you get them off is you attach a thing that screws on here and pushes on this middle pin and pulls it off with a twisting force. Unfortunately, the puller we have, it would thread outwards into the outer part of it, so it wouldn't work for this. So I'm going to be doing some nasty things. Nasty, nasty things. I don't know, I'm going to have to get inventive on this. Okay, so basically what I did was I wedged this crowbar in here and I hit it till it seemed to hit the pin on the inside. Then I pulled it back out again, I rotated, and I did that again and again and again. And I didn't think it was working, because I was like, okay, I'll move to something else. And then I thought I'd give one last hit, and as I did, it popped. See there's like a little groove there? Well, that corresponds to this little cutout, which sits in here. And that's a woodruff key, and they key the two surfaces together, but they take quite a lot to pull them apart, so that's why you need the puller. But we did it without, so that's good. Now I've just got to undo a load of bolts. I haven't talked too much during doing this, because there's not a lot to say. Nothing you see me doing here is something that you're going to repeat. So I'm more getting towards the end just to give us that answer from the last video of what actually went wrong. But now we are very close. No. Those are just going to hold that seal in. That's not connected. No. So now we've got to try and split this case, and I happen to know from memory this is not easy. Yep. Yee. Right, there's some telling signs. that's got to be bits of the race from the bearing. That's in the very bottom of the engine. Oh man, that's the worst. Look at that. It's always worth just double, triple, quadruple checking over what you're doing. Because if you try and get an engine case apart when you've got one bolt still left in it, you're going to do some damage. Oh yeah, that's long enough. Right. That is it now. Okay, this is not the advised method of doing this. You hear that though? That hollow sound? Oh yeah, it's splitting. We're really nearly there. There we go, there we go. Right. Oh. Okay, moment of truth. What? Right, that belongs... Oh. Yeah. Oh my god! Right, okay, the answer has been found. This is the outer race of the bearing, which belongs in this hole here. Okay? This is the retaining race that holds the ball bearings in. And for some reason, the inner race has actually sort of welded itself onto the shaft. And it just destroyed each other, and that's what stopped the actuation arm from moving. So the bearing on whatever shaft that is, I can't think right now, failed and basically wedged the engine together and stopped the clutch from working. So somewhere there has to be, oh there you go, ball bearings. Well, that's the end of a 9-year mystery. It was the bearing that went there after 2,000 miles. Yeah, well, you know, it's true, you did have the odd bad Chinese bike back then. Well, maybe more so than these days. Definitely more so than these days, and that was obviously what happened. So, Pulse, you kind of owe me an engine. Do you want to give me one? Well, the money. Oh, that's so incredibly easy to mess up. It's got like weird machine cushions and roll pin things and oh, there you go. Wow! This wasn't the other side of the shifter, I had no idea. Cool. Got ya. Ooh, look at it go! Look at it go! Look at it go! Everything else. And then as we go up a gear, they move in, and now the power has been transmitted through this gear. So that's basically how each gear works. It's just a dependence on which gear is interconnected with which gear, and obviously the size of the gears that gives you the different gear ratios. Now if I do the same thing I did before, top nut